in the background. I want you to understand, there's a lot of confused people in this room right now. You've heard that old phrase, A, B, C, D, about the Americans. Indians who are born there, we call them American born confused daisies, ABCD group. Like most of you, I am also born and brought up outside Kerala. Along comes this church, which is heavily entrenched in the culture, the language, and the dress of Kerala, and tells you, please come and join. You wouldn't have done it on your own, but your parents brought you when you were small. And most of you are still here out of force of habit. Though many of you know others who might have been with you in Sunday school, who might have grown up with you in church, who are not coming anymore. The church tried to hide you and keep you away from the mainstream. Even today, the church will tell you, you don't know Malayalam, you don't know how to read and write Malayalam, you are not as good Orthodox Christians as a good fellow or a good woman who comes from Kerala who can read and write Malayalam. You are being considered as second-class citizens in your church. I belong to your group and I know what you have been through, and I have been the receiving end of it from the church. Now it's time for you to reclaim your own. This church belongs to you. You don't have to know a word of Malayalam to be a good Indian Orthodox Christian. Forgive me if I get passionate sometimes. I have been trying to move this church to greater acceptance of people who don't know Malayalam, who are not born and brought up in Kerala. And I stand as a representative of you, Basil also does. Now I'm going to run through a series of questions. Why did you come to church today? I don't want a theological answer. You don't have to think, what would God like? Just, why did you come to church today? Say, thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Sundays is dedicated to church.
Because he is dedicated from Bachpan, Sunday to church. What he does here is something that you need to understand.
If I don't attend church, there is a kind of guilt that, the whole week I'll be like feeling very bad.
How many of you, and I asked this question last night, have ever had the opportunity not to brush your teeth in the morning? For the rest of the day, you feel a little awkward. Many of you look like me, you never ever not brushed your teeth. So we feel an adat to go on Sundays to church. What we do there is secondary. Church se kiya vapas hai, kam ho gaya, right? Now we have, not only you, your answer is for all of us. Okay? Why did you go? Why do you go to church anything?
To pray to Jesus.
To pray to Jesus?
Yeah.
To pray to Jesus.
Sorry? Why do you go to church?
To attend Kuruvilla and to give thanks to Jesus.
Okay. वो हस्बैंड को पूछ रहा मैं ये Most of us are here because it is adat from our childhood. And if you don't bring your children to church, they are not going to have that adat. up, and I'm saying this to young couples, children who are not going to Sunday school have more chances of dropping out of church than children who go to Sunday school. क्योंकि बचपन में क्लास में बैठ के कुछ कुशल करते हैं, उसके बाद they become young men and women. After that they become older people, but they remember the old kushal, and that helps them. So, coming to church, but there has to be something deeper. Last night I met a group of young people. Can you raise your hands here over here with me last night? Mostly quiet people. Thank you. If you are coming to church, the word salvation has not entered anybody's lexicon. You come here to pray in the Bible. Pray mostly for हमको ये चाहिए और होने चाहिए. इसीलिए है. You've all heard the word evangelion, right? Is it a Malayalam word? What's the origin? Quick. Greek, not Syrian. Evangelion is Greek. What does it mean in English? The good news. So I'm now going to ask you, you've heard this, and this is not orthodox. All Christians talk about the good news. So what is the good news that the church has? Where's that mic? Where's that word? What's the good news as far as you know? I thought I asked husbands and wives to sit together. I know his wife and she's not with him.
One and 50.
No, what is it? What is the good news? Most of us, and I'm telling you this, after 3 years he's quickly handing over to the wedding. That's the last section. Then the section number. She has better words there. But I took a long time to understand. The good news is the crux of the Bible, which says in St. John chapter 3:16. Can anyone tell me what that is? There you go. Your auntie has, please give her a hand. For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, so that whosoever believes in him, who shall have eternal life. This is the crux of the evangelium, the good news. You have been coming to church for so many years. I am asking you to break out of your stereotype. You mustn't go to church because you're used to it. Next Sunday, it's an experience I did myself. On Sunday morning, I went and sat by a lake in the park. Same time as Kurbana. One part of me was pulling me because what are you doing here? Kurbana is going on there. This was before I became a priest. Part of my experimentation. The other part of me was saying, what you're doing there, what you're doing here, can you merge these two? In other words, many of us are Christians belonging to a religion called churchianity. What is churchianity? Your Christianity revolves around this building. When you come in, you put on an invisible cloak called Christianity, and when you leave, you take off that Christianity coat, hang it, and you go out and become ordinary people. That shouldn't be. That's not the Orthodox way. To be a Christian is 24/7. And if you didn't know it by now, you better know it now. To be Christian is to believe that one day God is going to come back, right? Why are we facing east, by the way? All our churches, in your homes, we face east. Why? Why? You know the answer. Second coming of Jesus. Did he say, I'm coming from the east?
Yes.
Where? Where in the Bible? As lightning comes from the east to the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So, whereas the Pentecostals say, do you believe that Jesus is coming tomorrow? Tomorrow. I don't believe Jesus is coming tomorrow. That's their selling point. But without saying a word, the Orthodox acknowledges that Jesus Christ might come tomorrow. By the way, how many of you believe that Jesus Christ will come tomorrow? It's a question. How many of you believe that Jesus Christ can come tomorrow? Can come tomorrow? How many? Can he come tomorrow? There we all agree. Clear? He can come tomorrow. But Achan, I doubt he's going to come tomorrow. 2000 years ago he came. Another 2000 at least before he comes. He can come tomorrow, but I don't think he will. Therefore, my life can be as I want it. जुगाड़ करके मेरा एडजस्ट कर लो भाई अब अभी नहीं आ रहा है ना What guarantees you have in this world that you will be here tomorrow? Those people in Turkey, they got up and they never went back to sleep. In this day and age it can happen in India too, isn't it? So why are we so much putting tomorrow I will make the changes. Tomorrow, I will do these good things. We should not put off for tomorrow. Do you agree? You understand what I am getting at? If you are coming to church, keep some basic theology in your head. We believe in God the Father, God the Son, who came once and will come again. The Holy Spirit, who when He was leaving, He said, I won't leave you alone, I will leave the Spirit. The Spirit will do what? Bring you pav bhaji on Sunday morning. What does the Spirit do? What did He say? When did He say?
Sending him in my place.
Sorry?
Jesus said, I am sending him in my place.
But what will the Spirit do? I am going, but I will send you the Spirit. The Spirit will guide you into all truth. We don't like to talk much about the Spirit in our church because in the history of Christianity, not Indian Orthodox, whoever took on the power of the Spirit, they said, the Spirit made me do this. Can you go and say, no, the Spirit didn't? Can anyone come and say, Spirit didn't tell you that? Spirit might have told you something. So we don't like to play with the Spirit much in our church. But the Spirit is an important part of our Christian life. Because now that Jesus is not with us, the Spirit guides us. Now, coming back. You told me what you come to church for. If the church is the body of Christ, and Jesus Christ on the night He was betrayed, He said, He took the bread, blessed it, take, eat of this. Do this till I come again. Do you remember that? Do this. And do what? Breaking the bread, breaking the wine. This is my body. This is my blood. Do this till I come again. So we are coming together every Sunday not to play gulli danda or to discuss the latest shares in the market or to ask whether your neighbor is cooking fish fried today, or we are here to enact what Jesus Christ wanted from us. Till I come again, do this. So doing this is not watching somebody else receiving Kuruvilla. Ideally speaking, you should be receiving Kuruvilla every Sunday. If you don't do that once a month. Most of us do it once a year. And we are doing it now because without confession, you cannot get into the meeting. How sad. You are doing confession and receiving Kuruvilla so you can sit in on the Palli Podiyogam and maybe fight or shout or argue. These are things made for you and me. When we come here and we spend a little time in prayer, when we go back, we should have recharged our spiritual batteries. That is what we're meant to do here. Literally coming putting your two fingers into the spiritual plug point in community with others. The Orthodox Church highlights community, not individuality. If one, like many Pentecostals say, are you going to heaven? None of us are going to go together. We believe in the commonality and the community. So having said that, we should be coming here not because our parents brought us, not because we believe others will mark us present or absent, but because we want to hear the voice of God. You can hear the voice of God in your kitchen. You can hear the voice of God in your mall. But it's much more different. It's difficult. Here, what we call the house of God, consecrated for that purpose. Now, having said that, many of us feel inadequate as Christians, as Orthodox Christians. As I told you, how many of you don't know how to read Malayalam? Please raise your hand. Thank you. I need not ask about writing because we can't read. Writing is more difficult. So what are we to do when the church continues to talk in Malayalam? The church continues to give you the message, the sermon in Malayalam, and the Kurubana is Malayalam. What are you getting out of this 1 hour or 1.5 hours? But I want to tell you, don't let anybody tell you that you are second-class citizens in this church. Don't let anyone even imply that. Your spirituality is between you and your God. And if you talk about your orthodoxy, I will give you a few clues. There's something which I take as a session, I call it the essence of orthodoxy and the aroma of Christ. That's a session I take. It's a full session. But to cut it, to make it succinct, basically, you need to live like the Hindus say, Hinduism is not a religion, it's a way of life. Cut it in. Do you know that there is an orthodox way of life? If there are certain things that you do, then automatically you are living the orthodox way of life. And you scratch your head. What do you mean, Achan? You mean that? Yes. And I am telling you, more than 50% of those things, maybe 80% you are already doing, but you never thought of it. Prayer. You are praying? You are praying individual personal prayer, you are praying family prayer, and you are coming to the church and in the prayer meetings for community prayer, right? That is one thing we do. Reading the Bible. A little bit of a problem for the Orthodox. Our Kurbanas, our prayers, our premiers, are so full of the biblical passages that we know parts of the Bible and we are weak in actually reading it. You need to overcome that. Prayer on one side, reading the Bible not because someone else told you, or reading it to understand. So first and foremost, take a Bible that is easy to understand. I'll give you an example. You've heard of the Good News Bible? And you've heard of Gideon's Bible, which you see, the free Bible? Many of us have got Gideon's in our homes. Gideon's uses in English that even in England they've got rid of. And you are talking about taking it and trying to understand it. Get the Good News not because it is the best translation. It's the simplest English. After you wet yourself on that, move to New International Version. That's the best. But read the Bible. Thirdly, receive Kurbana. Now whether you do it by receiving Husoyo or confession, receive Kurbana. In my young days, and some of the elder people here will remember, there was no Kurbana allowed. You were not allowed to receive Kurbana if you did not have confession. So confession was a part of Kurbana till slowly the church realized that the number of people who are actually receiving Kurbana is going down, down, down. Normally, Kurbana does something. I'm telling you, in our church, there was a time people are training the next. Because nobody was receiving. So the church said, you want to receive Kurbana, we leave it to you. If you need confession, you come and confess and receive Husoyo, that prayer with the Achin touches your forehead. That is the closing part of Kurbana. If you don't want to, you feel that your sins are not that heavy, you just come and take Husoyo. So all of us who have got sins, heavy, light, very light, no sins, saintly people, all prefer Husoyo. Who wants to go to Kurbana? Who wants to go to conference in front of another man? After all, he is like that. वो भी पापी है, उसका साथ हम जाके क्या बोलूं? We make our own excuses. I tell you why I like to work with young people is because when they come for confession, they truly confess, believing, Sudareka, they will change. And after you reach a certain age, I know good Christians will say, Acha, he talking about slapping on one cheek and showing the other cheek and all that was okay in Jesus' time. आजकल नहीं होगा चाहिए. एक देंगे दो वापस देना ही पड़ेगा. नहीं तो in this दुनिया में चालू नहीं हो सकता. Is this what Jesus taught us? You have taken Jesus' teaching, modified it, put your chap on it, and you are selling it as Christianity. Fasting. The church has got certain units of fasting. You know, people who don't know about it, 108 days in a year is put aside in the Orthodox Church for fasting. With all the norms. Many of us manage with great difficulty William When is it starting? Next Sunday. That too, so many leniencies have been brought in now. But you see your friends who are Hindus, in the middle of the week they'll be fasting. They'll be abstaining from certain foods. They'll be not eating certain meals. Isn't that the case? Fasting during these years. Then the intercession of saints. If you have got in your house icon of any of the saints, by that itself you are believing in the intercession of saints. In our prayer it is embedded. If you just say it, or if you go to the cemetery once or twice a year where your parents, your brother, your uncle, your grandparents are buried, you are believing in the intercession of our departed ones. We praying for them and they pray for us. All these things which you have been doing make you an Orthodox Christian. You may not be a Malayali in the sense of doing all this in Malayalam. You can do it in any language you want, you're comfortable with. Don't let anybody tell you that because you don't know Malayalam, that you are not a good Orthodox Christian. Our church has a serious problem, and that hasn't changed. The problem of language. We have got bishops. There was no outside Kerala diocese many years ago. There was only one diocese, Kerala. Then in Kerala they had diocese. Then it came outside. Bahia Kerala diocese. There was one bishop for all of outside Kerala. Then came the breakup. Now the idea behind these breakups was so that the bishop could look after each group individually. And we told the Patriarchs, the Patriarch of Antioch, you stay out. Orthodoxy means autocephalous. When Orthodoxy came to India, we do it our way. We don't need you to boss us or tell us what to do. Who did we say this to? The Patriarch of Antioch. And so the Indian Orthodox Church grew and flourished. Now the Church of Malankara, the Kerala Church, comes to Bengal, comes to Odisha, comes to Punjab, comes to Tamil Nadu, and starts talking in Malayalam. 60 years, 70 years. And if you say, can we have it in a language we understand? No, only Malayalam. What happened to the Orthodox Valley? According to our own Orthodox rules, the Malankara church can be Malankara church in Kerala. When it comes to Bengal, when it comes to where are we? Maharashtra, we should have a Maharashtrian Orthodox church with slight deviations that go with the place, the flavor of the place you are in. Am I giving you new thoughts? Am I talking revolution? Yes, I am. I have stood in front of the bishop of this church and said, you are colonizing us. We've heard of colonization. Who came and colonized us? British, Dutch, French, Portuguese, yes? Now I'm telling you, Keralites are coming and colonizing you. Instead of coming here and saying, I'm very sorry that I don't know Marathi, I don't know Bengali, I don't know English, they're telling us, Malayalam Padiga, Mandan, Moolan. So God only knows Malayalam. No other language is permitted between God. That is why you and I come from God's own country. The church is not the place to come to learn Malayalam. You want to learn Malayalam? Start a Malayalam class outside here. Why you use church's time? You and I are here to meet the Lord. And the church's duty is to present the Lord in a manner in which you understand, appreciate, and can go home filled with the Spirit. If it can't do that, the church is failing. And the church has failed for so many years. If you remain wishy-washy Christian, not knowing why you're here, what you are doing, where you're headed, this will continue. Those who came from Kerala, who know the rules and regulations, will run all over you. They'll walk all over you. They'll tell you that you are not fit to be Christians. And we, ABCDs, confused Christians, will agree. Change that style. Last week, I took a session in Vashi. Other than Prinu, was anybody there? Vashi? Thank God. I'm now going to Velambify what I Velambified there. This is the good part. You know why accents are changed every 3 years? You know why accents get transferred 3 years? Because they finish their store of talk. Message is over. 3 साल के बाद नया 4 साल के लिए नहीं. So by then transfer, so he can Velambify the same thing in the other church. You think the Orthodox Church are Budhus? Very smart. I'm going to now take you to a new area. Why can someone tell me the time? I thought I had
5 to 1. 5 to 1.
5 to
1 o'clock.
12:55.
If I ask you, who is your family? Who is your family? You will mention your parents, your brothers, sisters, your husband, your wife, your children, right? That's family. If you go back another 30, 40 years, in all Indian languages, including Malayalam, this word first cousin, second cousin and all never existed. इधर ने चेयर करना है, ये अनियन है, ये मेरा भाई है, भाई असली भाई, अरे यार, my cousin. But that's coming. It's come from the West. So we know about Jesus. They talk about his brothers and sisters. Actually, we are talking about another group altogether. So, who is your family? Who is your family? I am asking you. You tell me, this is my family. But I am going to take you on a different route. Just stay with me. I'm going to take you on a different route. How many gods are there? Very simple question. Don't think so much. Think big, huge thoughts coming. How many gods are there?
One.
Is there any? Okay. Depending who I'm asking. I'm asking you. Please give me. Please.
As Christian, there is one God. believe in karma. Hindus believe in
N number.
so. As Christians, there is one.
So, when I asked you how many gods are there, did you answer as a Christian or did you answer as a human being? So, what she basically said, and maybe in your mind, how many gods Islam has? So, when you say that Hindus have got many gods, think carefully. Talk to them. Those who know the theology of Hinduism. At the top is Brahma, Vishnu, but at the top of them is one supreme unknown, the Brahma. Now you are telling me there is one God. Yes, one God. So you are praying in a room, not this church, in a room, and a Muslim is praying, and a Hindu is praying, and a Sikh is praying. The Muslim is praying to whom? God as known as Allah. And the Hindu is praying to Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, whoever. And the Christian is praying to the triune God, Triyadeva. How many are listening from the top? Kaun sun raha hai ye sab? Is there one Muslim God sitting there and saying, he is a Muslim prayer. Talia, kya raja? Now he's called the other God, the Christian God. Suno, तुम्हारा ये Christian प्रार्थना कर रहा है. क्या रहती प्रार्थना है? कुछ नहीं जानते. Does it work like that? I'm going to bring you to another thought process. It's not going to be easy because of what we've been fed. We are brought up, especially, you should know this. 2000 years ago, your and my ancestors in Kerala were Hindus by religion. That may be a shock to many of you. Hindus, my ancestors. Nah, never. What is the story of St. Thomas? St. Thomas came and converted who? Ye Brahmins chodiya, don't make fools of yourself. We were taught that in Sunday school when we were small. Now it is very, very evident. Brahmanism, the caste system did not exist at the time of St. Thomas. So you may adapt that to say elite families if you really want. But don't say Brahmins because under their order. Yesterday or day before, a chap called Jeevan Philip has been sending out something on WhatsApp. Did St. Thomas come to India? There is no proof. There is no proof. Only when I was taught by one of the finest church historians in our church, he is no more, the late Father Dr. B.C. Samuel, he said in Christianity, in Indian Christianity, there is very little actual proof of the presence of St. Thomas here. There is two things. One that he came via Taxila, which is Pakistan. There you have seen coins of King Gudna Fort, who is the Gonda forest of the stories we learned in Sunday school. And coins have been found. Around that time, there was a King Gudna Fort in Taxila, which is in Pakistan. And then there is the Malankara route by ship. But what Achin said is, in those days things were not written down so much. So it's quite possible. What exists today is a thriving community of Christians who say that St. Thomas came, because even before the written and the digital world came, the word of mouth passed. My mother told me about a man with a stick. It could be anybody, right? A man with a stick. But that's what she's passed to me. She's talking about St. Thomas. First Sunday, not that way. What I'm getting at is, if you say we're talking about families and we're talking about different religions, I want to say to you, can we talk of one family of people? Can we talk of humans as a single family? We were talking about evolution. Two places in the Bible I'm talking about. Jesus Christ was told, he's preaching, someone came to him and said, Aapka maa, bhai behan bahar khada. Uska kya jawab tha? Who is my mother? Who are my brothers and sisters? Anybody who does the will of God my Father. Are you with me? This is Jesus' words. So Jesus brings into his family anyone who does the will of God. Can that be a Hindu? Can it be a Muslim? Certainly. There are more Christians outside the church than there are inside. And we who say that we are saved, we are in Christ, we've come inside the church to say, are often not behaving like good people, let alone like what Christ wanted us to be when we go home. Do you agree with me? That's why I'm saying, your attitude to coming to church, what you draw from here and what you take out and show to the others must reflect. Otherwise we're only talking. My religion is greater than yours. So I give you one thing about Jesus Christ when he was asked about this. There's another place. A lawyer went to Jesus trying to trap him and said, tell me, what is the greatest commandment? So Jesus says, you're the smart guy, you're a lawyer. Tell me what you understood. And that guy says, love the Lord your God with all your mind, your heart, your soul and your strength. A. B. Love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus said, absolutely right. Time on. Do this and you will live. The lawyer, he asked a question, he was made to answer it. Again he's trying to trap this. Okay, love your neighbor as yourself. Can you tell me who's my neighbor? Lawyer asked Jesus, after answering this, who is my neighbor? He asked Jesus. So what he wanted Jesus was, because they were Jews, right? So the Jews had many rules, who stays in and who goes out. So he wanted that Jesus would get trapped by saying these people are good neighbors and these people are bad neighbors. So what is the story Jesus gave? The famous story? The Good Samaritan. Now go back and read Luke, in St. Luke chapter 10. Go back and read. But I am saying to you, if you dissect the story of the Good Samaritan, what you will see is the Good Samaritan is a man who helped his neighbor regardless of who it was. Because the chap who went on the roadside, who fell on the roadside, first 3 people passed by. The priest, very high class man, and finally the Samaritan, who to the Jews was like a Dalit to the Brahmins. Okay, so who is helping? The Dalit is helping. And the people who should have helped didn't. So the Good Samaritan story tells us, my neighbor is anyone who needs my help. You don't look to see, are you Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, anybody. And then he takes him to the inn, pays the innkeeper some money, look after him, and I'm coming and going, you know me. If you need more, next time I'll come and do. So regardless of his wealth, his status, his position, he was willing to help. So when I ask you now, my friends, who is your family? Are you beginning to understand? This is Jesus' own words. But we have started making small circles. We are in, those people are out. I talked to you about evolution. I took this class last Sunday in Vashi. And after that, by coincidence, in Vashi, in a bookshop, I came across a book. Some of you might have read it, but you all have heard of the author because he got the Nobel Prize. Hariri, the Jewish historian who is teaching in Jewish, he got his degree from Oxford. And he wrote a book called Homo sapiens. I just bought it. Homo sapiens. What he is trying to talk about is the background from which we came. There were many groups of Homo species. Only one exists today, sapiens. All others have been died or killed off. Homo erectus was the last to die. Erectus, you've seen those pictures of First the monkey is crawling, then you see a gorilla walking, and then a man. This is evolution. My point to you is, we have evolved physically, we have evolved bodily, we have evolved intellectually and spatially. Have we evolved spiritually? Good ancient religions and people like Swami Vivekananda talk of religions as many rivers leading to the one great ocean. Doesn't that sound good to us? But among us are people who say, no. You can't be going into that ocean. Oh, the Hindus and Muslims are there. Please come this side. We go to our own private ocean. And it is we, theologians, priests, the guardians of your spirituality, that are telling you we must be different. And especially over the last 300-400 years, the Western Christianity has come in to tell us, don't mix with the others. Don't be friendly with the Hindus. You know that we were Christians 2000 years ago. You and I are here with Western Christians. And the Muslims and Hindus and Christians in Kerala got on absolutely fine. They still do for the most part. But the missionaries came and said, if you don't stick in a missionary compound, if you don't do these things, you will lose your Christianity. Don't fall for all this. Try to understand that we are meant to be part of a larger group of people called humankind. How many of you were born? Just to know if you are sleeping or not. Quick question. How many of you have been born? Born. Very ചോദിക്കുന്നു നിങ്ങൾ ഉറങ്ങുവാണോ നോക്കാനായിട്ട് ചില ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ഇങ്ങനെ ഇടുമ്പോൾ ഉറക്കമാണ് അവർ കൈപോക്കുന്നു ഇവൻ കൈപോക്കുന്നു ഞാനും കൈപോക്കുന്നു എന്നാണെന്ന് ശരിയായിട്ട് മനസ്സിലായില്ല. Were you born as a Christian or as a human being first? What is your species? Human, Homo sapien. Then we started telling you Christian, you Hindu, you Muslim outside. Right or wrong? My friends, can we evolve to accept? Don't listen to the Pentecostals and evangelicals. You are 2% Christians in India today, right? We must live a truly Christ-filled life, reflecting the glory and the values of Christ. Do you agree? Having said that, are we doing so? We are not. ഞായറാഴ്ച നമ്മൾ പള്ളിയിൽ പോകുന്നു, തിങ്കൾ മുതൽ ശനിയാഴ്ച വരെ കള്ളന്മാരും കുറുക്കന്മാരും ചെയ്യും. So how can we put this together? And we dare to tell another religion, your religion is not good, your religion is not right. Our God is the only
Awesome God.
Our God is an awesome God. Our God is awesome God. Your God are Bhagwas.
Indina padam pai.
And if they ask you, are you living according to the tenets of your God? Not really. That's where I'm asking you to rethink your coming to church, my friends. I'm asking you to rethink your separation from others. How many of you have heard of an author called Jules Verne, V-E-R-N-E? What book? Around the World in 90 Days, any other? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. All become movies now. The book is 80 years old. How many of you have heard of a book and then a movie called The War of the Worlds? Aliens attacking Earth. It's a recent 10-20 years ago movie. When the aliens attack the Earth, human beings start coming together. Russian president calls up the American president. They talk to the Chinese prime minister. All the differences are forgotten. They are coming together in the face of an alien attack upon our species. Friends, we are being attacked. We are being attacked by many things that don't look at whether you're a Hindu, a Christian, Muslim, Sikh. Doesn't look at your passport. It attacks. We are talking about COVID. Most recent, did it ask you your name and patha and your religion? Did it ask you your bank balance? Terrorism. ecological problems, water shortage. Are you with me? These are common problems for the species, but we are still fighting amongst ourselves to try and say, not you, we. I am asking you to start rethinking. Can we think of a united group of people that allows you to be Hindu, you to be Muslim, you to be Sikh? But let us move together and stop spending money on the things that divide us and wars. Let's start spending money to make the standard of living higher, so the poor become more, everybody gets education. Can we do these things? I'm closing my talk. We are part of a larger family, whether we like it or not. We can tell you to stay away in little groups, but that's not what evolution is. I believe we need to evolve. And that evolution comes when you are talking about God of all humans. You know the Vishwasa Pramana? When I see it, we talk about God who came from heaven to earth, right? Think carefully. If life is found, thinking life, okay? Conscious life is found on another planet, will Jesus have to come again? Because He's come only for who? For us men and our salvation. Jesus came for us men and our salvation, not for the people on planet Mars or Pluto. We need to evolve. If our brain is working and our body is working and evolving, why is our religiosity, our spirituality? So let's start talking about understanding God in His greatness, not in breaking it. That is the future of humankind. You, as Christians, bring something to the common table. The Muslim brings, the Hindu brings. Let's bring it on. And if you will notice, many people say, there are many more commonalities than there are differences. Peace is one, love is another. All religions will say that. Islam is a religion of peace. What they are doing is a different issue, is peace. What did Jesus say? Love. Which religion will say no, love is dead? So why can't we rephrase this and be more inclusive? We need to be more inclusive. You have come to this church today and we are talking about you as Diaspora. I have gone through to try to tell you, please stay as you are. You don't have to become Malayalified to become a good Orthodox Christian. With whatever your background, but you must have some knowledge. You can't say I'm Orthodox and not know your Bible. You can't say I'm Orthodox and say I don't go to church. Go. Become more knowledgeable about Christ and His life on earth. But through that, let's open ourselves so that others see the Christ in us. That is what we need to aim towards. I now invite Basil and how in a short while, let's call it a business meeting, what this group can do, you're only Thane, what you can do to continue your Utaima, because you are the church of the future. Not the 10 old people who come here for early morning prayer and drone on in Malankara. You are the church. If you want something, you come together, plan it, ask for it. If not for you, for your children. If you want your children to continue this kind of a feeling, some things have to be done. Some changes have to be made. You have to ask for it. The last thing I want to say is that I'm in Roha. Those who don't know, Roha is about 3 hours from here. From Diva, there's a train that gets you there in 3 hours. And it's a very nice place. We've got 2 properties. One is about 20 acres, one is 40 acres. 40 acres on a hillside, 20 acres by the side of a river. It's a beautiful place to just go and chill out. Come there on weekends, Saturday, Sunday. Bring your family. Let us know you're coming. Come in groups. I'm hoping to have a couples meeting in Roha in the next 4 weeks. Most probably on the 4th, 5th of March or the 11th, 12th of March. Now Achan told me there are some happenings here in this church. Otherwise Achan said, I would guarantee you that at least 5 couples will come here. But I'm asking you to come, not because others are coming. Come because you want to bring yourself out of the rut you're in. Not just the city, not just the jadedness of this difficult life. Come on, let your brain just expand a bit. See the sun, feel the heat, swim in the river. If you can't swim, just dip your legs in the water. Think about all this and bring home a little part of God back with you. That will give you energy to run for the remaining days of your life in this city. So I'm in Roha, my wife will join me shortly. We look forward to meeting you there. Otherwise, we will meet you at the church. May God bless you all.